back to the forum of the forbidden. We come together, different minds come together, and most of the time we come up with the same conclusion, which happens to be love, being together, and love thy neighbor. This is what the show is all about. Today we're going to talk about lost time. So let's bring them to the stage, my friends Daniel Cahoon and Fisher of Spam, aka Jim. How's it going, fellas?
What's up?
All right, let's go here. Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about lost time. How you guys feeling about the subject?
I'm at a loss.
It escapes me.
It's slipping away. You're going to make me go on the fly, guys. I'm going to go on the fly. Before we start, guys, we'll go around. We'll start with Daniel. We'll go to Jim, and then I'll promote at the end. Tell people a little bit about your channel, where they can find you guys.
All right. Well, Magical Journey is definitely on YouTube. Go check it out. The easiest way to find anything about Magical Journey is at magicaljourney.com. It is the ongoing, ever-evolving process with that site. However, it is always up to date. So check it out, magicaljourney.com. And don't forget to check out the magical merch while you were there.
Yeah.
Jim.
All right. So let me get my mushroom head out the way. I am Jim, also known as Fisher of Spam. Sorry, Magic. I didn't mean to trigger you, buddy. Yeah. I've got an awesome YouTube channel called The Night's Watch. You know, it's where all the cool kids hang out. You can also find me on the Rumbles and the Spotifys and the Facebooks. Still not X, you know. They still got me banned, but, you know, yeah, I'm a cool dude. Come and hang with me. Be one with the mycelium. Be mycelium. Yeah. And I froze Tom.
You're poking me.
On my camera, I'm tickling Tom.
I'm not really sure what you're doing there now.
I mean, I got two hands. Tom! Okay. Well, folks, if you keep finding yourself coming back to the Eye of Jupiter, make sure that you come and like and subscribe, because we're awesome and we talk about everything and we love each other. And we are one with the mycelium. How's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
Cool.
works. So what do we do when Tom disappears? I'm confused now.
I mean, theoretically, he can come back in, right?
Well, I mean, it is his show, so he can come back in anytime he wants to.
Yeah. Let me check the messenger real quick. Oh. Okay, so from Tom, his power just went out. He'll be back in a few minutes.
His power went out.
Yeah, you know, they're not on the mushroom power over, so. All right, so everybody, today on the forum of the Forbidden on Tom's channel, not my channel, we are talking about lost time. So, yeah, lost time is, first of all, before we get out there with all this, anybody out there in the chat have experience with lost time? I bet you there has a few. So, if you are familiar with the topic or have comments related to the topic, be sure to tell us. And I don't have control of putting your thing on the screen, but I'll say it. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. So Magic, what you think about it, buddy?
Well, so it's interesting because predominantly when people think about lost time, it's usually related to alien abduction and UFO phenomena. But one of the things that we tend not to talk about a lot with lost time is that it can be the result of other phenomena too. So I'm I realize it's kind of rare in a lot of people's minds, but it does happen. Welcome back, Tom. How are you doing?
Hey, buddy.
I'm doing good. It's good to see you guys. We got our buddy Poncho over here. The power went out all of a sudden. I'm laughing at Jim's awkwardness, and the power went out. I guess that's what I get, huh?
I have that effect.
Yeah, I have that effect. All right, so let me pop my show in. This is you guys are here, so this is the Eye of Jupiter podcast, and today we are doing the Form of Forbidden. It's my three buddies, Jim. My two buddies, including myself, would be Jim and Daniel. Yeah, you can catch me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course, Rumble, and your favorite download for your MP3 purposes. I put out a show live every Friday, and every Tuesday, is when I drop my regularly scheduled episode. So we're talking about lost time. Daniel, I believe you had the floor.
Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. So I mentions that during the Dogman experience, they lost a little bit of time. Most likely, whenever they may have gotten hit with infrasound. There are instances, for case in point, one of the times that I was contacted through Mindspeak with one of my little friends around the Sparta area of Tennessee, while I was driving, they asked me if they could take over for a few moments to drive to show me that they could actually do this. And of course, I'm all down for a good experiment, especially while I'm on the road. I drive in Tennessee. Nobody really knows how to drive here. So I was like, okay, we can do this. So, I let go. I let them do their thing. A few minutes later, I'm back, and I realize I'm several miles down the street. Mm-hmm. And I'm still intact, and my car is still driving, and we're all good. But to be honest with you, even though I was aware of the movement and everything going on, the amount of time that lapsed, I wasn't aware that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it doesn't seem like your consciousness is catching it the way it normally does. You were like somehow like altered for whatever reason, whatever purposes, dude. It's a very strange phenomenon. I mean, one thing that we don't even put into account sometimes is like maybe the deja vu effect also can be like a time loss thing where like you're like, did I like I could have swore I dreamt this, or did I? Or there's even been times while in the middle of deja vu where I'd be like, I'm having a deja vu, guys. And the person would go, really? And I go, yeah, you said that. Look, this is going to go over here and happen. And then it happens. I mean, like as it's happening. And sometimes it makes you wonder, like if it's like, because scientifically, I think they described it as being where the left and right part of your hemisphere don't always sync up electrically. So it feels like you're having a loss of time. But it's just something that we don't think about. Something we don't think about all the time.
Right.
Very good idea. Daydreaming. That's a good one.
Yeah. So, like, on the topic of what you were just discussing there, Daniel, a little bit, I don't know if it counts as like the classical, what we like to all think about lost time. But like one time, I remember when I was probably in my 20s, I had to get up real early one morning and go to Atlanta to pick up some animals because I used to own a pet store, or my family did. And I remember specifically waking up in the morning, getting ready, getting in the car, and just being exhausted, right? And I remember driving down the road and just barely getting like out of the road that I lived on. And the next thing I know, I'm in Atlanta. Wow. I have no idea how I got there.
Damn.
Right.
Yep.
That has to be Judy Wheeler.
Yeah, I woke up and looked over at my wife because I just realized I think I was asleep. I looked over at her and she's dead asleep. So I'm like, I don't know how we got here.
Wow. It's such a strange feeling. It must be a strange feeling. Hello, Judy Wheeler. I don't think I know Judy
Judes.
Wheeler. Hi, Judy. Welcome to the show. Hopefully we earn your subscription for all 3 channels today. Yeah, that's such a weird thing. I was listening to a guy, he was talking about where he was traveling between Portland and I think Washington. And he just kind of like the same thing you were saying, Jim. He was like, just kind of next thing you knew, he was like an hour was missing, and he had like 5 more exits before he got off, and he was just like, what's going on? And I think we've all had that to an extent, where I call it being in, like, especially early in the morning, I call it autopilot. You just kind of push a button, you got your coffee, you listen to your music, and you're going to work. But some of them are not quite like that. Some of them are much more incumbent, or would you say like all encompassing? You know what I mean? So I can understand it. It's like, if you guys have any ones that you want to share, you guys can go ahead and pop them up there. We'll read them out. So it's a phenomenon that a lot of people seem to run into. And a lot of the times it seems to be people who have like these UFO encounters. Like that happens so often. It seems to be part and parcel for the experiencers themselves.
So one of the things I want to point out, though, is let's talk about the mundane for a moment, because I think we put a lot of emphasis on that which we want to focus on, which is the paranormal, and that's obvious because we kind of live in that realm some days. But some of the reasons why people have missing time too, and it's really important if you are having a lot of periods of missing time, to make sure that you're doing the stuff you need to do with checking in with doctors and so forth, to make sure there's not something medical going on. I say this because I'm one of those people who have a seizure disorder. And I can tell you now that because seizures come in different varieties and different styles and so forth, you may not realize that you have this problem. Okay, with the across the board, everybody I know that has some form of seizure, will have missing time in that. If you have early onset of some neurological issues, you'll start developing missing time. So, and the list goes on and on and on. Okay. So if you're noticing that you're having like consecutive missing time issues, maybe a minute or 2 here or there, or a few minutes, because sometimes if especially in the case of a seizure disorder, it's going to take you a few minutes to kind of come back to reality even after it's over with. So if you have, periods of time frequently where you have missing time, that's when you need to probably get a checkup and make sure that everything is okay there. Right. And then start looking at the more paranormal reasons for it. But definitely, if you're having a lot of it, don't just assume that you're having a paranormal experience.
Yeah, you could just be narcoleptic.
We have Roger on from Squatch and Holler, and Roger writes, "Hi, buddy. Hey, Roger just went through a difficult surgery a couple days back. We hope you're doing well, my friend. My son and I lost an hour between Knoxville and Nashville. We checked the mileage, and we lost 70 miles. I'm glad he was there to confirm it. That is incredible. That is an incredible encounter."
So let me ask you, what do you mind telling us what route you were taking? There's a reason why I'm asking.
Yeah, because these are Tennessee guys, Northern Alabama guys. They're interested in the exact route you took there, Roger.
Yeah.
I would imagine 40, right?
Not necessarily, because
40.
There are several routes you can go down 40. Yep. Okay. What about where were you as far as locale goes? Do you remember what town you remember last approaching a ramp for, or what ramp you were near? See, these are all things because there are certain parts of that part of the state that are really key, I think.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, you know what place really freaks me out? Like when I drive through it is that area like on the way to like Pigeon Forge and Sevierville, Gatlinburg, all that,
I'm
where it's
not
like
surprised by his answer.
oh, never mind.
You know,
What's
now
with Oak
you
Ridge? What do you guys know about Oak Ridge?
so
Portals, porta potties. I said
not
porta potties, YouTube.
not only not only that, not only that, but it's just that whole area is very Oak Ridge, Harriman. A lot of those areas through there, actually, Crabapple Orchard, all of those areas through there, like literally starting in those directions, is high intensity all the way up into the Smoky Mountains. So not so much when you get into Knoxville, but yeah, around Oak Ridge, there's been a lot of things reported around the Oak Ridge area.
That's where like the whole underground CERN thing is that's going on, and the porta potties and the critters coming out of portals and 50 cal snipers, yada yada, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, what I was gonna say is the area of
my
40 where you drive
experience with it.
through.
Yeah. My experience was really weird. It was a bunch of it. It's actually dropped like an hour episode or a half hour episode of the story, but it was like a whole thing where I was putting solar panels in for a ranch pump here in the peninsula, and there was a day that we went out and we worked, and normally there's days that are faster at work. It's just like you're busy and it's going well. You're not overstressed by it, but you're busy. And time just kind of flies by and you go, oh, wow, that felt like a half hour. And it was an hour. You know what I mean? But this was more like, because there's a lot of things that happen, guys. Like the tires popped. We had to march out of the woods. There was a scorpion that fell on us in the truck and I couldn't sleep. There was mosquitoes. It was quite the episode. And there was a day, I think, I can't remember, it was like a Thursday or a Friday, where we were working and we got there, and I swear, like the next thing I know, I turned around and it was like time to go. We looked at the clock. It was like the guy's already coming back. He goes, "We'll come back and get you," because it was kind of off the path. It was like through this really tall grass. So it's like 10 feet tall. And he's like, "We'll come back and get you when it's around this time, because we after we get done working on the ranch, we go back to town." And he was already coming back, and I was like, maybe we worked 2 hours or something. And we looked at the clock and it was already 3. We're like, whoa, and like literally like 6 hours had passed. So it was like half the day. It was such a weird experience, you know what I mean? And it doesn't feel like we got that much done either, you know what I mean? It was like, because you can kind of look at what's being done, what should be done, and what's then finished, and it just didn't fit with the time that we had. And they were just, they no one really, because of what we do on this channel, we always kind of like when you have like you get like this inspector's kit when you start really looking into this stuff and listening to people coming on your shows with all these different experiences. So you kind of look at everything with both eyes, the eye of the casual observer, like a person who's just working, or, John and Jane Doe, just, living their lives out there like everyone else. And then you have like the eyes of people like us, where we're like, wait a minute, there was a lot of things involved in that. What happened out there? It was such a weird experience.
Right.
Yeah, you had multiple.
The eyes of Jupiter.
Yeah. You had multiple experiences that were kind of strange in that location, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I was glad to get out of there. You guys, they thought that they thought the cartel grabbed me up, because that particular area I was in is where they do like to like kind of snatch people. But I was way off in the woods. I didn't think anyone, so like my girlfriend and his wife, or and the other guy's wife, were all kind of like freaking out. We'll drive down there. We're gonna find you. It was a hell of a time. There was no cell signal. Literally, guys, in the middle of nowhere, I seen fucking spider monkeys and coatis and just the weird you hear howler monkeys in the night kind of thing. It's way out there, guys.
Wow.
Yeah. Howler monkeys are
Oh,
fun.
y'all amazing. Wow, there you go. You guys over there. That's Denise is over there. Denise and Pam are making Judy feel welcome. Welcome to the show, Judy. We have a great moderating team, the best in the business, and we're gonna have some fun. All right. So, any thoughts and ideas about what this is, or we want to go to the next part of the subject? Jim, go ahead and take it away. I'm sure you're itching to say something.
I'm more wanting to see where you guys take it, honestly. I mean, because like as far as this goes, like what Magic was talking about while you were gone is most of this kind of comes up in UFO type circles, right? And that's where like the majority of my theories kind of come into play and how I think about this stuff. But yeah, I mean, if there's anything else like outside of that you guys want to cover, let's cover it. I'm happy to listen.
So I'd like to hear your theory actually on why the UFO time missing, because they'll say like you've been like the concurrent idea is that you've been taken aboard the ship for whatever reason to tell you to protect humanity or do some kind of thing, and then you come back and then you don't remember, and next thing you know it's dark outside or it's morning or whatever. So that's like the prevailing idea, but there might be something else that I think Jim likes to ponder on these things. So love to hear your point of view.
I do like to ponder. So, all right.
See his eyes up in his head.
Let me see here. All right. So, you guys know how I look at the stuff. It's all connected to spiritual things rather than alien critter things, right? I don't have to say that. Everybody knows me by now. So that's the way that I look at it. And the thing is like, first of all, there's a little bit of a ponder that you got to sit there and do and think about what is a day to God, and like in regards to like say the creation story. Right? What is a day to? Ow, cat! Stop it! I told you they were gonna drive me insane today. Wrapped around my foot and just latched into me. Anyways, so what is a day to God? Okay, so we can debate on that till the cows come home, whatever. But the point is that we don't know, and it could be a very long time, right? Right. So if we go down that route, because we're essentially talking about something that's outside of the third dimension, outside of the fourth dimension, like when we refer to the spiritual realm of things, we're outside of time, right? So if we're dealing with creatures that are, in my opinion, at least half of that, when you interact with them, does that have an effect on time in and of itself? Because in order to react or interact with them, you have to come to whatever level they are. So if you're there talking with them for 5 minutes, you get back and all of a sudden 3-4 hours have gone by. Like that's kind of how my mind thinks about it. And there's lots of stories that that I've heard that's like that. Like a porta potty opened, or went to the hangout in the UFO. We hung out for 15-20 minutes. I came back home. It's the next day. It's like, how? Magic, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, but we just can't hear Tom.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. There was a motorcycle driving by. I have a button I can push. To go a different route is it's just a thought that I had. Like, it would be strange if you were gone for a minute instead of the 3 hours when you're abducted. So that to me means that wherever these things are going, say they shoot through they do it within distance of the Earth. Let's go ahead and put everything in. It's the metal ship and it's not interdimensional. They come and grab you, and they have a technology to pull you out. So
Right.
everything is within the area of Earth, and they don't actually go through. You can read lips. Okay, Denise. You don't actually go through some type of like. I would imagine that you're not going through any type of wormhole, orbiting a planet with a larger gravity, because that would actually slow time down the other way. It wouldn't make it go faster. You would return with a quicker. Does that make any sense whatsoever?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, sure, good. Yeah, I thought I was going talk about falling down a rabbit hole of concept and thought. So I would think if they're doing it, it's probably local to the area. It could even be under the ocean. You know what I mean? Something like that. But I wouldn't think they went through like a wormhole and would be around something with higher gravity because of Einstein stuff.
Maybe.
If you think that's right.
Yeah.
Just things that are popping in my head as we're talking about it. This is what we do. We try to act like we're smart, and then we realize we're not. Like, we don't push buttons, and I'm just over here flapping my lips and my head's moving like in Canadian. South Park reference. And
Yes.
yeah, so this is what we do. We're just shooting the breeze and trying to figure this out.
Right.
I don't know. It's so strange.
I like where your head's going, but let me throw something at you real quick.
Go for it, buddy.
So the speeds that that UFOs are tracked at, also the quick, let's just say like right angles and stuff like that, at those same speeds, the G forces would rip anything to shreds.
Right.
What if it is interdimensional and they are literally phasing, like think about AC electrical current, like through the hertz, they're vibrating in between dimensions at such a rate that they can move a little bit here, move a little bit there, move a little bit here, a little bit there. And to us, because of the way radar works, we see it at this oscillation here within ours, and then at this oscillation between, in our realm.
Right.
So that we calculate the speed to here is Mach stupid, right?
Put that on a shirt.
Mach stupid. So that's what I think about, though. Like in the physical realm, like yeah, it makes sense, but like, how you go in Mach stupid? How are you gonna mycelium everywhere?
Well, I've been hearing like this idea that like I think there's the Tic Tac UFO. Like when they videotaped it, like around it there was like this like this fuzz, like
Right.
this, like they are like teleportation, like in the movie Transporter guys, And I think Jim knows about. You can't say porta potties. That they're able to somehow make a bubble and put their selves within inside of our 3D space, and then so to us it looks like it's impossible angles, but they could also be like you were saying too, Jim. They could also be some type of like avatar thing, and it doesn't matter what speed they're going at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true too. It's just the machinery, like how the machinery even hold up. Like it, I don't know. It's one of those things like when you try to wrap your head around it, it's like there's issues, there's holes, physics is a thing, but yet it still does it. So how? And that's what we do. We try to speculate on the how while we wear a mushroom suit.
I was actually I can't remember. I had a gentleman on. I don't remember if it was Neil. It might have been Neil. It was either Neil or Patrick Doty, and he was talking about there was an actual video. He didn't know it, so it was him and his friend in the house, and they hit a joint or a bowl of weed or whatever, and they were going to watch a movie. They had their fresh beers. They have fresh beers in their hands, and they started it. He's seen the lion roar, whatever, and then the credits were rolling, and the beer was still in his hands. It was sweating. There was water all over the table, and they don't remember anything. So the interesting part about that was, even though he can't get a hold of it anymore, there was an actual like CCTV camera for his house for security. And it was actually recorded. He goes, wait a minute, I got a security camera to look at this. And they looked at it, and he explained what happened. He was just sitting there, and they just had this blank stare in their face as the movie just rolled by. Just rolled on by. And I said, well, what happened? what happened to the videotape? Because yeah, me and him had a falling out, and he has the tape. I said, well, go over there and paint his goddamn garage. We got to see this video.
Right.
Yeah, but that's what he said. They just blanked out, and then the next thing you know, they looked at each other, and then everything was normal again. They were just consciously not there. Both of them.
Wow.
It's just, yeah.
What do you think, Magic?
So when I first really got involved with the paranormal in the sense of actually starting to investigate things and do some kind of, for lack of a better term, hands-on work with it, there was an incident in the 1980s in a facility, and I'm not going to give a lot of information here because I really don't. I think this is probably something that could get us censored. It was a very large facility.
Mm-hmm.
It was a facility where there were things underground there that were kept, and people were actually, there was one person per shift in this facility underground, where there were various cables and so forth.
Right.
During the shift change, so there were people coming in, they were getting out of their cars, they were driving through the gates, they were getting ready to come into work. The other people were sitting there, doing their job,
right,
getting ready for their shift to end. And then all of a sudden, there was this awareness that something was off. One person was talking about how he reached over thinking that everything was going according to the timeline.
Right.
And he had a glass of soda sitting on his desk. And when he reached over to grab it, he felt it was very wet. And he looked at it and he realized that the thing had been staying there long enough that the ice had melted and there was like a lot of perspiration on the glass.
Right.
It didn't make sense to him. There were several people that had a lot of reports of things that were happening, that indicated that they had been there a lot longer than they had perceived. And so
you can also, yeah.
When they looked at, again, security cameras and so forth, literally the security cameras showed all of these people with blank stares on their face, getting up from their desk, walking out in single file of the building. And there were several marks on the ground there that were burn marks that were perfectly round. Okay.
Uh-oh, Raggy.
Security at the gates and so forth. Everybody in this facility, hundreds of people.
Right.
All reporting the same things. Now, this event it had a massive effect on a large part of the country up into Canada because of where this facility was and what it was.
What did they do exactly? I'm sorry if you said this earlier.
At the facility?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but what I will tell you is it has something to do with electricity.
Good enough. Okay.
I'm going to make a guess. Can I make a guess and you just don't nod? Is it HARP?
No. It was not HARP.
Oh,
it was actually... No.
I mean, to be fair, does it need to be? I mean, electromagnetic radiation is a phenomenon that is present at every single stage of every single thing that we all talk about. So, I mean, at what point does that even really matter?
True. Well, okay, go ahead. I have something to counteract that in a second, but go ahead, Magic.
So the bottom line is they closed the facility down at some point, at least long enough to concrete over the burn spots in the ground, cover up a lot of things. People were being silenced,
Like always.
Yeah, and so forth. I will tell you this: the part of the facility that was underground that I was talking about housed cables. There was only one way in and one way out. You had to go down an elevator and go up an elevator. There was only one or two people per shift that had clearance to even go down there. The cables underground, that far underground, were completely melted.
Whoa. Okay.
Wow.
So it was like a voltage spike or something.
Something
Yeah.
melted them. But anyway, so allegedly this happened. I talked to a regressionist who was involved with this. Actually, she was the one that really got me started in doing physical research on anything. And her experience with that, she went in and she told me several things that about it that were quite interesting. In like as far as her regression sessions with a couple of the people. But yeah, so again, missing time. We had people who were coming into work, people who were getting ready to get off work.
Right.
Then all of a sudden they turn around and nothing is matching up on the timeline. The computers are all still running, and so forth, but things have advanced greatly in time all of a sudden.
Right. Well, I mean, the good news is if that happened to everybody, you can't get fired, right?
True. Assumingly.
Jim was slacking off on his reports again.
Yeah. Everybody was.
So, here's an interesting, it was a story that I had like a couple weeks back, and this is how it's not really lost time, but it's definitely some weird time stuff happened. I had a gentleman on who talked about we got ourselves our first little, all right. He had smoked an illicit drug. It is now an illicit drug called Salvia divinorum, and he took like the strongest one that he could. He smoked this, and he transported from where he was in Alaska to Texas, and he lived the whole life there. Like he had his own apartment, he had a job, he had friends, he had his picture was him when he looked in the mirror, everything. Right. And then 4 years into it, he realized like his family, not that he lose his family or never had a family, is that his family that he had didn't exist, and it made him very depressed. And then after the 4-year mark, he just kind of accepted that it wasn't real, that he actually like did almost drown because he woke up, water skiing. And about another 4 years passed, so 8 years in altogether, he had a bucket of chicken under his arm, walked through a field and sunk through the ground again, like he did the first time, ended up back in Alaska in his friend's basement, and apparently only 45 seconds had elapsed. Now, I don't know if that's electrical, maybe in your brain.
I mean, that is what fires between neurons, but I want to know more about this. Yeah, I want to know more about this bucket of chicken. Bro.
You said it was Kentucky Fried Chicken, but
of course it was.
It's incredible. Oh, wow. It's an incredible encounter, man. And this is not the only one I've heard of these where people have smoked this stuff, and like even Neil Ballas, who I've had on many, many times, he had an experience too where he was like with his partner, another partner. He was in the frost. He remembers feeling and he's never been out of like Florida. And they were setting up elaborate traps to catch these animals and eat them and live off the land for a long, long time. And then they were sitting around a campfire one night, and he goes, "Wait a minute, I just smoked some shit." Next thing you know, whoop, 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 back from reality, dude. And like, and then no time passes in the place where you were, but you live a complete and other existence. He said there's nights where he still dreams about this person and loves him and misses him. You know what I mean? It's just such a wild thing that happens when it comes to like this weird, where time doesn't match up with the way we are accustomed to, I guess would be another way of saying it. If we're talking about time, I think it's definitely part of it.
Right. Definitely so.
But the chicken was just KFC.
Right. It's always the
That's
Kentucky Fried
so
Chicken.
Weird.
Yeah, Kentucky chicken in Texas. I don't know. Let's put some dots together here.
Okay, so the growth ratio of chicken in Texas versus Kentucky, but then when the pulsar aligns with Jupiter and the eye opens in Alaska, yeah, don't know.
Yeah, it's just even if the concept of time itself being the fourth dimension, and then depending upon the gravity of the certain situation that you're in, that it bends itself. It's part of the fabric of reality. And sometimes maybe we get caught, like there's an anomaly. It's so strange. It could be like, it's not the point of what there is. You ever have it when you're at work too, guys? You've been working with people for a number of years. I had a job where I worked 11 years at one place. And there's days where I used to go around asking people, did time pass slow for you today or fast for you today? And I would say 70 to 80% of everyone I asked would have the same experience I had. Not every normal, blah, blah, blah. There's a few of those, but like statistically speaking, people would feel that as well. And it makes me wonder that sometimes like that certain, like, because you also know in certain parts of the earth, gravity is more strong than others because of density or whatever is underneath the crust. And it's just, I just wonder sometimes if like everyone just feels like a certain bump, or if there's something else going on, or because it seems, or like during full moons, things like that. There's a lot to it that we just, because, normally guys, we sit down and go, okay, when's the next forum? And hopefully we'll have more often, guys. Hopefully let's keep our fingers crossed for Jim that he can do it more often. We always try to make sure that we fit around everyone's schedule. Like right after this, Magic, who you got on today, buddy?
Today, after this, I have, who do I have on now? I'm focused on a couple of things at once.
Welcome to the podcasting world.
Barb Hartman, right? Yeah.
Barb Hartman. Oh, she's awesome. Say hello to her. Yes.
She is. She's also, we're talking about a little bit about some of the evidence that she's going to be bringing with her tonight on there too. So check it out.
It's been a minute since I talked to Barbara. It's been a minute. That's going to be interesting.
It is.
Cool.
And that brings something to mind too. So cryptids, there are times when people have mentioned, somebody mentioned a Dogman experience where they missed a short period of time. Yeah. Yeah.
It was when he entered the park until he drove to the back of the park. That period of time he told me was missing. Yeah. I know exactly what he's talking about. He told me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. I wonder if it has to do with the infrasound. I frequently wonder that with them because although my experience with them was a little different, so it was definitely, it was definitely right after, a very different experience that I realized that time had kind of slipped away somehow. Right. But that's kind of one of the theories that I have with the cryptids, is that maybe infrasound that somehow causes some disturbance in
like a distortion.
Yeah,
like a distortion, because it's such a powerful force. It's like so I don't know exactly. I haven't experienced it myself, guys, but like it's like a low resonance like sound wave that maybe could be that resonates with inside the body that makes people actually sick up to like 3 weeks is what I've heard at the most, and maybe a couple hours at the best. And people talk about nausea feeling flush and just generally like a sick feeling, and
Right.
that maybe that power that comes out could be so, it's like the electromagnetic spectrum can be so powerful doing that they can actually like mess up the fourth dimension, like one dimension being so powerful that it can override and overtake
Right.
one of the other ones that we're experiencing. It's just a pretty wild, just an idea.
Yeah, it's very true, and I'm glad you brought it up, because if you weren't, I was about to next. But like on that note of being hurt by it, just look at our good buddy BMR. I mean, his ex-girlfriend
Oh
that
yeah,
was with him when they had the Bigfoot experience, she died because of it. Or
yeah.
crap, unalived. Dang it, YouTube, making me say weird words.
Making me not be myself. Making you not be yourself. It's the American way.
But yeah, I mean, and I wonder about the whole infrasound anyways, because like to me, I see it more as radiation sickness. And it's the same kind of thing, with the oscillation anyways, with sound waves. Like, I mean, and electromagnetic radiation, I mean, like all of that is on the same spectrum, and you only have to go a certain distance from whatever, and it acts as the next thing. It's all within the radiation spectrum, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I don't know, it's one of those things, like, we don't have good audio recordings of Sasquatch or whatever zapping somebody. So, I don't know what to do with that. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that I don't know. Like, and for instance, just off the top of my head here, if everybody watched Cryptic Expeditions, Land Between the Lakes, that Greg Ogles just did. His old cameraman got zapped, and it was a very intense part of that documentary. And the thing about it is all of that is caught on audio and video, and they had that analyzed, and there was nothing on the infrasound spectrum that showed up. So how do we explain that?
Okay.
Hyper-focused? Maybe, but I don't know.
Makes me think they should be taking a Geiger counter with them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
said.
I would love to, like, you know what I mean? I don't know if anyone's done that yet. If anyone, like, later, when this is on YouTube, write down below if you know any Bigfoot investigators or paranormal investigators who take a Geiger counter with them, because I know they take EVP meters and they measure the electricity in the air and all that, but maybe we're looking in the wrong space. Maybe these things are like radioactive, dude, and they can they can like push that off at will. I think some don't and some do, depending on how threatened they feel, maybe.
And think about, like, for instance, I can't remember his name. I know I should, but I'm sure people out there will. The famous guy who chases did chase the Bing lights in Australia. Gosh, I can't remember his name, but I'm probably even saying that word wrong. But it's like that Aboriginal thing: don't chase the lights. He chased the lights, and he's like, "Oh, they're UFOs, yada yada." Well, anyways, made an awesome couple of documentaries, and now the dude is like on his deathbed with cancer due to the amount of radiation that he was caught in from doing said things. Yeah.
That's crazy. So according to Pam, the best moderator in the whole world, that actually some researchers actually do take Geiger counter.
Yes, some do.
I'd like to have, if you guys know anybody who does that and would like to come on, have them contact one of us three, and we'll have you on, because I would love to to get inside your head about, like, maybe if someone does get zapped and but here's an interesting thing, guys. Tim was telling me, the Ohio Bigfoot researcher, Tim Gayhart, he was telling me that one time there was 13 people, and I think 9 of them got it. 9 got zapped, or 10 got zapped, and it was majority men. It was like 9 men and 1 woman got zapped. so they can kind of direct it at your gender. That's interesting too.
Interesting.
I've never heard that one before. That was a very interesting. Like they can maybe tune into your chromosomal makeup. I don't know. It's just something to think about. Tim messed me up with that one.
Right. I mean,
yeah. Sorry.
Conspiracy theorists like to. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, conspiracy theorists like to blow the whistle all the time on 5G being able to shake your DNA apart, allegedly.
Yes.
So
allegedly,
we're
not scientists.
Yeah, I'm just a mushroom guy, so I don't know. But maybe. I think you're onto something there. What do you think, Magic?
To be honest with you, I really haven't given a lot of thought to the concept of attacks on people based on gender. I do know, well, in this respect,
Right.
I do know that women tend to be favored over men by cryptids, for especially Bigfoot, for whatever reason.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's actually been some interesting documented cases of people, couples being out and being confronted with a Sasquatch, and the man's experience was completely different from the woman's experience.
Right.
And so I do know that is definitely a thing as far as they're differentiating between how they communicate and connect with men over women a lot of times. Yeah.
I don't think I've heard that yet. That's one up on me. I didn't know that they were favored in encounters, like when there's both genders there at the same time. That I was unaware of. Didn't know that.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say favored in the way that we normally think of the word favored, but they are definitely treated differently.
They want to clap them cheeks.
Holy Mother of God! Well, that's one.
I think it's
you're beating around the bush. Just say something.
No, you were beating around the bush.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I see what you did there, and I say, good day to you, sir.
A little ninja action for you guys.
Yeah.
All right, dude. We got another 5 to 10 minutes here, guys. I want to make sure that Magic gets his all. Magic is prepared for his shows, bro. And hopefully, Jim, we can maybe have you on a regular basis that you're doing Saturdays or something, or you know what I mean? And we can then get the shows kind of lined up like an NBC Friday night. Get your pizza in your family and watch some cryptids and UFO stuff and psychedelics and the Bible and witchcraft and all that stuff, and you just get it all lined up back to back and get to watch your favorite shows, man. So we're keeping your fingers crossed for you, Jim.
Yeah.
I know this is kind of I know you put on you put on your little mushroom. I guess you're really going to play some Mario after this. I'm looking forward to seeing that over on Twitch.
Probably. What's Twitch?
Always getting Magic laughing. Yeah, so I want to make sure that Magic is ready to go. We got a couple minutes left in the show. Let's make sure we get our plugs out first. And then if we have a little bit of rounding, some closing thoughts on it, we'll do that. And then we'll get up out of here. Jim, where can they find you, buddy?
So they can find me over there at my YouTube channel, Fisher Spams the Night's Watch. I also go by the same name over at the Rumbles and the Spotifys. Got the Facebooks too. Come over there and hang out. I typically do shows Saturday at 8:30 Central. Sometimes I don't get to. I don't think I'm going to be able to this weekend. And if I do, it's going to be super spur of the moment. I've got something releasing tomorrow. It's the end of the Lacerda files. I finally did a review on part 2 where I take whatever that silly lizard said tonight, just poke a bunch of holes in it. And
you're getting some good numbers with those Lacerda files, aren't you, man?
Oh yeah, it's an interesting. A lot of
Guys,
people are like,
go check it out, guys.
yeah, a lot of people are doing some stuff on that right now, and it's like, neat. I'm a trendsetter, so yeah. So yeah, the moral
Yeah.
of the story is, guys, come out there, hang out with me. I'm really cool. I'm really nice. I love all of y'all, and I say funny stuff and do funny stuff. So yeah,
He's really cool. I
I'm
love
super hip,
that.
yo.
Daniel, please tell them where they can find you, find your show, and learn a little bit about what you do, man.
Okay, so Friday nights, 7:15 Central Time. Magical Journey podcast is right here on YouTube. Check it out. Please remember to give me a like, comment, and if you have not yet, subscribe, because that's what all the cool kids are doing these days.
Heck yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you can find anything and everything you really need to know about me right now and my projects on magicaljourney.com. There's a little bit of change in some things that I'm doing right now and exploring some avenues there. So keep up to date on that. Obviously, if you are on Facebook, and don't hiss and boo at me, folks, for saying Facebook. Come on.
Boomer.
You can find nowhere near boomer, dude. So you can find me at Magical Journey podcast or Magical Journey, not podcast, but Magical Journey on the Facebook group, and there's also a page dedicated to the podcast as well. So there's the story on that.
Yeah.
Awesome. And don't forget, right up after this, he's going to have Barb Hartman on, and we're going to find out a little bit about all the craziness that is going on over at her property in Washington State. Barb is a good friend of the show. Please go over and check out her channel as well. But you'll find all that information after this show. So guys, jump right over there and make sure you catch Magical Journey show right up after this. You get to see what it is that my buddy does. Here's his link tree as well. My name is Tom Franklin. Go ahead and see my name. There it is. My name is Tom Franklin. I am the host of The Eye of Jupiter. You are on the channel right now. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit your bell notifications. Go ahead and write your comments. Go over on on your favorite downloading podcast site, except for Apple. I haven't gotten there yet. And leave a review for me. Check it out, download it while you're delivering your Pepsi products. You can also find me over on Rumble. You can find me on Facebook, and you can also find me on Twitter. I've released an episode every Tuesday at 3:30 p.m. Central Time, and you catch me every Friday at 6:45 Eastern Standard Time. Is that right? Yeah, Eastern Standard Time, right here. And you get sometimes it's the form of the forbidden, and sometimes you'll have someone like MK Davis is coming up, guys, but that one's going to be a different time. But you'll see, it's a little bit later, I think. Yeah, me and Magic had to do some switch that day. It's coming up the middle of next month, I think, something like that. So come over and check me out, and I hope you enjoy the content. Yeah, so parting thoughts, guys.
All right. Who wants it first?
Go ahead, Jim. You're already talking, buddy.
Ooh, should have saw that coming. All right. So I guess my parting thought on the matter is be observant, and take notice to the things like that we brought up, to the fact that this is reported in not only alien stuff, but cryptid stuff and conspiracy stuff, matrixy stuff. It's all connected. I mean, do I even need to go into like super space program stuff and 20 and backs? Like, all of this stuff with the missing time is connected all throughout it. Why? That's the thing. That's what I got to say is, Why? Look into the why. Do some digging, do some research, and to figure out why. And then, other than that,
Hawaii.
What?
It's from Ace Ventura, Pet Detective 2, when he was in when he found out the reason why they were trying to get the indigenous groups to fight, and he goes, Hawaii.
He said guano, I thought.
Yeah, it was guano, but he goes, da 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 da. Why did if you knew this was going to happen in the guano, then why did you have me come? You know what I mean? It's the only part I can't figure out. And he goes, Hawaii. Sounds like Hawaii, but he's saying why. Sorry, Jim. Popped in my head.
Okay, well, on that note, and if you guys out there have missing time stories, contact your boy. So, yeah, there you go. Bussin'.
I'll go last. It's okay, Daniel. Go for it, buddy.
I guess one of the things I really want to emphasize here again, just to kind of recap a little bit, if you're having consistent missing time and it's kind of becoming a thing, I would really strongly encourage you to check out the mundane reasons behind it before you go into the magical reasons behind it, just to make sure that you're okay. Because there are several things that can cause missing time on physical levels. So I definitely want to emphasize that's an important thing to remember and take heed on. However, the phenomenon of missing time, I think, is outside of the mundane, is a very serious issue that we need to explore a little more. We really don't understand the mechanics of it, and we really don't understand, exactly the impact. You guys were talking about people who are no longer with us or have serious problems after that. There are people that speculate that Scott Carpenter's experiences with cryptids may have been the reason why he passed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, you guys always bring it, dude. Like you could be a guest on just the things that you've learned while starting this podcast. You keep telling me shit. I'm like going, they favor women in a sense, and Scott Carpenter may have passed because of his interaction with cryptids. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, there's speculation. We don't know.
Of course.
I don't have privy to his medical records, obviously, to know much about it, but there's speculation. And coincidentally, if there's anybody that's like a podcaster that would like to have me on your show, I'm most willing to come, boys and girls.
Fantastic.
He's a good guest.
Yeah, and it's still a very attractive man at the tender age of 60.
Not quite 60 yet. I still got 3 days. 3 days without being
3 days. Oh, your birthday's in 3 days. Oh, we gotta have a party, guys. All right. So when you guys are over there tonight on Magical Show, give him a preemptive happy birthday. He's gonna be like I said, the tender age of 60. It's 6 decades. And so he has some experience, and maybe you guys should go check out his podcast, as well as Jim's. Yeah, dude. Kind of like piggyback off of what Daniel was saying. It's like, if you're experiencing like on a constant basis of sorts any type of time slippage, definitely, maybe, possibly consult.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm petty.
No. I love it. Dude, you're talking my speed. That was really good. Definitely go ahead in Hawaii. Go ahead and get yourself checked out, guys. But if those can be all crossed off the list, my suggestion is to maybe create some type of journal, like a physical written journal, not one on a computer, and put it next to your bed. And then try to look through it and try to figure out why these things are probably happening, possibly happening to you, and then maybe you'll know, Jim.
Why?
I feel like I'm surrounded by Tourette syndrome.
No, he's got that mushroom costume on. When he said it, it kind of jiggled a little
Pops up,
bit.
yeah. Thank you guys for the birthday
I'm not gonna
wishes. I
say the joke
appreciate it.
wanted to say.
Yeah, guys. So yeah, just write things down. Try maybe meet up with other people. Go on our forums. You can come to our Facebook pages, and maybe we can put a little little side part over there, and we can start talking about it, and maybe help you out. Maybe try to figure this out. But in the end, this is like a support thing. Like, a lot of these people come on and they have these things like, running into cryptids with time slippages. It's all just a little part that I wanted to touch on today. And you just know that this community that we've built is a supportive community. We will listen to you, and we will try to help you through any type of weirdness that you might be, just by coming and talking to us. Seems to be very good. And yeah, you guys are the best. I love you guys so much for coming on and helping me out today. And I'm glad we're still doing the forum.
Yes,
Sure. I had so much
definitely.
fun.
It's so much fun. So one more time, go ahead, like and subscribe to all the channels. Magical Journey is coming up after this one, and soon enough, I guarantee Jim will be on a regularly scheduled program, and you guys can check him out too. Don't forget to go over there and look at the new release of the Certifiles and get yourself educated on everything that is Jim and the Fisher of Spam's The Night Watch. Excuse me.
Bussin'.
All right. Later. Love y'all.